Hey riders and racers, and welcome back to another live stream. So today's topic, let me just find the page up here, make sure everything's working a-okay. Today's topic is three training tips for those of you that are tackling the Grassroots Enduro series. So there's one round coming up in Queensland. I think it's not this weekend, next weekend. Hey Matthew. And then there's a couple more. So there's the one in New South Wales, there's Wildwood, which is usually a pretty big one. And then they may be, I don't know what's happening with Tasmania, if they're rescheduling or not. But plenty of time to make some progress. There's about 5 months between, what are we now? July, August, September, October, November. There's about 4 or 5 months between now and the last round of the series. So shit tons of time to really make some good progress and finish off the rest of the series pretty strong. So to break it down into 3 areas, or to give you 3 training tips that you can use to improve your performance on the bike. So first one's strength. And I know I bang on about strength a lot, but the reason I bang on about it so much is because it's so important. Especially for you guys doing the grassroots stuff, okay? It's more extreme enduro, technical enduro, really more similar to trials riding, okay, on an enduro bike, with a little bit more pace. Probably a bit harder as well because you're doing such long rides and such long races, lasting, a few hours. So strength is really important for the technical stuff because strength does a couple of things. First major thing that it does is the stronger you can get your body, the lighter the bike will feel. Okay, so if you look at the weight of your bike, so if you've got maybe a 300 two-stroke, you're looking at a bit over 100 kilos. And then if you've got anything bigger than that, or you've got a 4-stroke, a little bit heavier, maybe 110. So let's say at minimum, you've got 100 kilos that you're working with. You've got your 100 kilo bike and you've got your body weight on top of that. Okay, so if you're weighing 80 kilos at the moment, that's a 180 kilos that you've got there to be able to wrestle with. So think about when you're going through, say, a rock garden, okay, and you're really having to muscle the bike or even get off the bike and drag the bike or pick the front end of the bike up and get it into the section of the rocks that you need it to go into. That's requiring strength, okay? So the stronger you can get yourself, the lighter that 100 kilo bike feels. And the lighter you can get that 100 kilo bike to feel, then the better you're gonna perform through different obstacles, the easier it is going to be to get through different sections. Even if you're going over logs, or other sections that aren't rock gardens, anytime you're muscling that bike around, the stronger you can get yourself, the easier it's going to be to move the bike. Now, the other advantage that comes from being stronger is because if you're stronger and the bike feels lighter, you're using less energy in each section. Now, if you just do enduro, okay, or extreme enduro or technical stuff and trials riding, you just practice and you don't actually race, the strength building will help you in terms of the skills, but in terms of the energy use, it doesn't matter because if you use a shit ton of energy on a particular obstacle, you just go and have a break before you go and ride again. Now, when you're racing, so for you guys doing the series, it's not just the section in front of you that you have to think about. It's the sections, hey Brendan, in front of those that you have to worry about as well. So having the skills is one part, but you also need to be able to make sure that if you can elevate your strength and make the bike feel lighter, you'll use less energy on every section. Okay, so instead of going through a rock garden and using 100% effort to get the bike where you want it to go, you might only use 60, 70 or 80% effort to get the bike where you want it to go because you're a lot stronger. So what that means is that you can recover a lot quicker because you're using much less energy on each section. So what that means is when you get to the end of, say, a rock garden, and then you've got another section which might be like, let's say it's a big couple of logs coming up, which is going to take a bit of effort, then you can recover quicker and be sharper for that next section. So what that means is you can tackle those sections at a higher level because you're more focused, okay, you're not out of breath, you're not fatigued, you're not trying to recover from the previous section still. So I guess that's the difference between just being good on the bike, skills-wise, and actually getting good results racing-wise, is when you're racing, yes, you need to be efficient with your skills on the bike, but you also need to make sure that you're recovering really well between sections to make sure you can be consistent with those skills. Because one of the things I hear a lot from my riders, particularly when I first chat to them and we first start together, is their skills are at a reasonable level and they can get through these obstacles or hill climbs or rock gardens or over these logs, and that's not really the problem. The problem is they can do that at the start of the day and then they get 1, 2, 3, 4 hours into a race, and those obstacles at the start that were really easy now become very hard. And the reason they become very hard is not because their skills have gone anywhere. They've still got the same skills. It's just that they've accumulated all of this fatigue over the race day through the previous obstacles. So the stronger you can get yourself, the less energy you use. The less energy you use, the more energy you have for the rest of the race. So if you've already got the skills there, then getting stronger is going to help you to be consistent with that all the way through the race, rather than seeing them taper off, which is what happens for a lot of races. So that's the first one. Movements that you can use to get stronger, guys. Use a barbell, okay? Reason we use a barbell is because you can load it up with lots of weights. It provides a lot of stability for your body, which is great, and gets your whole body working together as a system like it is on the bike. So you can do things like deadlifts, back squats, overhead presses, bent over rows. They're a good start for you guys, okay? Don't be scared of lifting some heavy weights, because at the end of the day, that's what you're going to be doing when you tackle these coming rounds. Second area is cardio, conditioning. So there's 2 types of cardio you need to work on for these events. Okay, the duration of the event's 2, 3, 4 hours, depending on what class you're riding and racing in. Now there's 2 areas of cardio that you need to work on. One area of cardio is your aerobic energy system needs to be good. Okay, if you're doing these rides for 3 or 4 hours, you need to be able to have the pace, okay, and the endurance in your body to go for 3 or 4 hours. So that's the first thing. The way that I recommend training for the aerobic stuff is on the bike. Okay, do majority of your aerobic training on the bike. Okay, when you get out and ride, go for 3 or 4 hour rides and work on developing that energy system, as well as getting a lot of bike time. The other energy system that you have to work on is called the anaerobic energy system. And this is your short, sharp bursts of high intensity energy system. So this is, for example, when you're going through, you're going around or going for a lap, and there's a really tough section there. Okay, and just before that you had an easy section, and then there's a little bit of a, like a, I don't know, a fire trail, okay, or you're up against, there was a good, one of the rounds was like in a paddock, and then I went outside the paddock, and there was like a bit down near the fence where it was almost like a bit of a rest, okay, it was all flat, and there was no sections there. So when you're going through those sections where it's all flat, you're not using much effort at all. And then you've got this really tough section. Okay, so in that tough section, then you're going from 0 to 100% effort, okay, or 90% effort. And then you might give it 90% for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then you get past that, and then you get another quick break before the next section. So you need to practice and get your body really accustomed to going really, really hard for very short periods of time, because that's what your body's doing on the bike. Okay, so it's a mixture. It's aerobic because we're going for 3 or 4 hours, but there's also anaerobic parts in there, which is those short, sharp bursts of high intensity, which is those different sections of the track. Obviously, the better your skills are, the less energy you'll use for each section, okay? And you might have less harder sections or less very taxing sections, and depending on what class you're riding in as well. So, as I said, the anaerobic training, the short, sharp bursts of high intensity, you can practice with, say, a rower. You can do 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off, and do 10 rounds of that, okay, 10 minutes, or 15 rounds, 15 minutes. And to develop your aerobic energy system, preference is on the bike. If you can't get on the bike, do some longer stuff. So do like a half-hour row, or go for a mountain bike ride, or go for a cycle for 45 minutes or an hour, and you can build the energy system that way. Is this all making sense? Just give me a thumbs up, guys, in the video if it's all making sense so far. If you've got any questions, anything I can clarify for you, feel free to post it up in the comments. Third one is the nutrition side. So I find a lot with the nutrition side. I did before Fink for the desert race, I did a virtual event specifically for the event, and I asked everyone at the end of everything that I'd gone through, what was the number one takeaway that you got? And I went through everything. I went through like just nutrition for the weekend, how to prepare, what to have in your camelback, how much water to have, adding salt to things, carbohydrates, like absolutely everything. Went through everything with these guys. Shit ton of information on a 1 hour online event. And I asked everyone what was the biggest takeaway. And for a lot of the guys on there, the biggest takeaway was something I mentioned when it came to doing test runs. So what I find, like, so let's say for Fink, for example, a lot of guys will go and do pre-running. And for you guys doing the Grassroots series, you guys go and practice. Okay, you might go and test run the tracks if you can, or go and practice similar sections to improve your skills on the bike. And we do test runs to test our riding and see where we're at and see where we need to improve. Now, one thing that a lot of riders don't do is they don't apply that same thinking to their nutrition. So what they'll do is on race days, they'll try new things. They'll have carbohydrate drinks, they'll have a protein shake, they'll have a protein bar, they'll have an energy bar, they'll eat some lollies, they'll have breakfast when they don't normally have breakfast, or they won't eat, or they'll eat better, or they'll eat more fruit. And they start trying all of this stuff on race day. And that's the worst place to be testing this stuff, because when you go into race day, you don't want to be testing anything new. You want to make sure you've done all the testing beforehand. So when it comes to your nutrition, focus on doing test runs with your nutrition. So when you go and practice your skills or practice your training, practice getting in your carb drink, practice getting in your protein shake, practice getting in the right food or eating the fruits. Do a sample run or a dummy run, exactly what you're going to do when you go out to. So the next run's in Queensland at where are we? At Capricorn, right? So instead of, it's probably going to be a bit late now. Well, actually no. If you're going out riding this weekend because of the events the following weekend, then this weekend when you go out and practice, don't just go out and practice and then save all the nutrition stuff for race day. If your nutrition system is that effective and it actually helps you, then you should be doing that for every ride, okay? And so going to this weekend when you go and ride, go and practice. Practice having your protein shakes, practice having your carb drinks, practice having whatever the system is that you use. If you work with me, then use that system. If you don't work with me, that's fine too. Whatever system you've got that you use for race day, practice that, okay? And make sure that you've got it nailed and everything dialed in. Try having Powerade in your Camelback, or adding salt to your water, or having carb drinks at different times, or having your protein shakes at different times, or eating in the morning or not eating in the morning, and find out what's going to be the best for you. But at the end of the day, you don't want to be testing all of that stuff on race day. Race day is about racing. That's when race day should be the easiest in terms of we're not testing anything anymore. You've got everything sorted and it's just about performing and doing well. All the testing and the real hard work is done leading up until that point. So do test runs with your food. So to summarize, first of all, get strong. Okay, there's plenty of time for you guys to get strong. Don't write the season off. We're only a couple of rounds in, or only two rounds in because Tassie got cancelled. So plenty of time. Get stuck into strength work. Start training properly and doing the right stuff and making the bike feel light and use less energy on race day. Number 2 is make sure you tackle the 2 types of cardio. The longer distance stuff, preferably on the bike. The short, sharp distance stuff in the gym. And then 3 is do test runs with your nutrition. Okay, don't leave nutrition just to race day. Test that stuff as well in practice and make sure you've got that dialed in. So hopefully you found this video helpful, those of you doing the grassroots. Since today's topic is on grassroots, I am looking for 5 riders that are doing the grassroots series, that are doing either all of the rest of the rounds that are out, or at least 2 of them. And so this is for riders this is for races, okay? This is not for just people that are riding around or banging in the bush. This is for races that are committed to the Grassroots Enduro series. This is for guys that want to improve their strength, to improve their balance through tougher sections of the track. If you want to be able to improve your endurance from the race. So if you're finding that you've got sections that are easy at the start that become very hard at the end, even though they're the same obstacle and same section, and you want them to feel easy at the end and easy at the start, then that would be for you. And the other thing that I was looking for, what did I have written down here? And you also want to recover. This is for riders that want to be able to recover quickly between sections. So you have to have the skills already, okay? This is not, if your skills are shit, then no amount of fitness is going to help you. If you've got the skills already and you want to be able to be sharper in between obstacles or in between sections, and you want to be able to recover quicker so you can be more consistent lap after lap and actually get better results by doing that, then this will be the program for you. So I'll put some information in the comments for you guys below. If you're interested in getting a little bit more info. And then there's an application form there as well. So if you want to, if you'd like to apply, feel free to fill out the application form, and then we'll have a quick call and see if it's what you need or not. But otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed today's live stream, and I will chat to you guys soon. See ya.